What is up, guys? Welcome to this video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the importance of being honest about emotions. On this channel, I talk a lot about self-actualization, emotion work, a lot of what can seem like abstract ideas, but actually when you apply them directly to your life, they're not so abstract, they're not impractical at all. So being honest about emotions is something that can deeply transform your life. And this goes hand in hand with my last video. I believe it was, I got it right here, How Lying Ruins Your Life. I recommend watching that as well. But when we want to be happy, we have to uncover a lot of our emotional crap, psychological crap, that is preventing us from being happy in life. And you can't do that without sincerity, being sincere, without an authentic and genuine desire to know what is true and in a very honest way, open, honest way, willingness to question, willingness to realize that we don't know, and to get what is true. Now, being honest about emotions is something that honestly you probably don't do unless you've worked on it. Because let's say you feel an uncomfortable emotion right now, very lonely, very sad. What do you go and do? Like, do you distract yourself? Do you keep scrolling on YouTube? Do you go on some other sites on the internet? Do you go get food? What's happening there? There's an avoidance happening there, which is, I'm not criticizing you. You're not a horrible human being. But I'm just pointing out there's an avoidance there, and there's a sort of a desire to move away from what's true, which is that you're sad or you're lonely. There's a almost inability to just look at the state, really feel the physical sensations of that state, and actually accept in your head, say, I am sad. I am lonely. And to really just accept that. How many times have you done that, where it's like you feel something, you very clearly state what it is. I'm jealous. I'm feeling needy. I'm dissatisfied with this moment. How many times have you said that in a very clear, honest, and descriptive way about how you're feeling, even where it is? In my stomach, there's a sense of anxiety and fear and tension and uneasiness. You see how instead of robotically doing whatever you're going to do to avoid the emotion or the feeling or whatever it is, you can actually stop, pause, be aware right now. The part of you that's aware, tap into that space right now. And from there, allow yourself to be open and honest. And notice the clarity that comes with that. There's a deep sense of like the clouds moving. When you go into the experience as well. You go into the physical sensations of the experience, and you actually sort of translate it in a very accurate way to your own thoughts as well. Like, oh yeah, I'm feeling sad. Oh yeah, I'm feeling desperate. Whatever it is. So we have to notice our unwillingness to look at our states and be honest about how we feel. We have an avoidance to things that we don't like. Because at some level, when we experience an emotion we don't like, whether it's sadness, loneliness, anger, our avoidance is actually there because at some level, we interpret that as threatening to our survival. That's why we run away from it. But we all know that sadness isn't going to kill us. Loneliness isn't going to kill us, really. I mean, loneliness is an interesting one. But a little bit of sadness, for the most part, just for this example, isn't going to kill you. So why not just sit there and feel it? Get curious about what it is instead of running away from it. Just an idea. The next part is be clear as to what you are feeling, why, and what it is about. And you got to get an honest answer. You can't say, I feel angry because this person's an asshole and they didn't do this for me. You have to really, I recommend watching my video on How Lying Ruins Your Life. You have to be very honest, okay, about how you're even creating the feeling. What beliefs do you have that are creating the feeling? This person should have done this for me. That's a belief. They should have done this. They should have behaved in this way for me. This is a belief that's creating suffering. In many cases, when we believe that people should be doing things, this already creates a sense of lack of harmony in us, division, and suffering. This person should be doing, this person shouldn't be doing this. So you gotta really state to yourself why that is the case as well. acknowledge it, and try and realize why. And actually come into contact with the present moment as well, with awareness, with what's happening now, with a deep intention to be honest and truthful, regardless of how much you might not want to hear the answer. And the answer might be, I'm feeling sad and lonely and angry because this is what I'm creating for myself. And how am I creating that? I don't know how I'm creating it. I don't consciously want this. I don't know what I'm doing to create this. I'm just here by myself and I feel really sad. How am I creating this? So you got to get very honest about this, like I've been saying. And I want to talk about how we manipulate our emotional states and try and bypass them. So distraction. You got to be honest about when you're just distracting yourself from an emotion, like you're watching TV because you actually feel a lot of grief in your heart, in your chest area, and shame or something. And now you're watching TV. Whatever. You're distracting yourself. Just admit it. Yeah, I'm clearly distracting myself from my emotional state. Or I'm going out to meet people out of an inner sense of loneliness. So the truth can often be a little bit brutal, but there's a sense of clarity that opens up with it. And it's completely crucial to our ability to relate to what is happening in a clear way and in an effective way. So we have to take a look at our direct experience. This is the key, or what's happening now. It's in our direct experience, whatever emotional state it is, it's happening now. We have to get in contact with just what's direct and not much of an abstraction that points to the past, to the future, this way, that way. Oh, I should have that and that and that. We have to get in contact with our direct experience. And we have to realize how robotic we are in the ways that we relate to our emotions. Like, for example, there's a natural instinct, apparently natural instinct. There's a set of conditioning that's perpetuating our avoidance, our self-sabotage, our distracting of ourselves. There's a set of conditioning behind that right now, because we're not conscious of it, we can't control it. We can't change it to something that we would like. We don't really have free will, in a sense. In this sense, I'm not trying to debate about free will or determinism, but in this sense, our conditioning is running the show and we are kind of just subject to it. Unless we go in and we rewire it. In that case, we can probably make different decisions, different actions, different thoughts, different emotions. Moving on, rewiring ourselves to investigate, embrace, and take a look at our emotions with compassion and not criticism. So this is an important point, is notice that there's the emotion, and then your mind can come in and be very critical of what you're feeling, like this is bad, you're a loser, you're a failure, whatever it is. And basically, whenever your inner critic is coming out, basically just notice it and give it love, give it compassion. Like, you don't have to believe the thought. The thought can happen, but it doesn't have to be believed because it's not true. It's just a thought. It's just imagination. And you can actually give it love and compassion. And same thing with the emotional state. Just sit with it and sort of almost like hold it like you would a toddler, like your inner child. Hold it like it was a baby that needs love, safety, and protection and security. Because that's what a lot of these emotions are coming out of. They're coming out of a sense of insecurity, fear for the most part. A lot of the ways we relate and do things comes just directly from fear. And a lot of that is just coming from wounded childhood aspects of ourselves that we have to investigate and look at. Because at one point, that way of relating helped us apparently to get our needs met, but right now it might just be making us suffer. So we got to investigate that. So we really have to rewire ourselves to investigate and embrace whatever emotional state we're in with compassion and understanding and not criticism. And when criticism arises, because it will, you actually have to love that too. Give it compassion and understand that this inner critic is just there in everyone. This is just what it is to be human. It's that judging, analyzing, evaluating aspect of us. And no matter how adult-like and powerful and true and what else is there? Whatever. And rational, no matter how rational it seems, it's basically full of shit. You have to actually recognize it as just your imagination, just thoughts. And then return to a sort of compassionate embrace of not only the emotions, but even the inner critic. Like, where is that sort of over-judgmental aspect of ourselves even coming from? From another sort of wounded part. In many cases, it's just another wounded part. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any comments, any questions, comment them, and I'll try and help you out. But other than that, take it easy.